I've tried to convince my staff to move out of New York City. Half of them have. And I've joked with the other New Yorkers, you know, good luck swimming across the river. And, you know, you guys voted for it, you get what you deserve. When's enough? But Michael Bloomberg is the most dangerous man in America because he doesn't just affect New Yorkers. A mayor in a city that you don't live in and you never voted for is now involved in your snacks, in your school board, and your right to bear arms nationwide. 5 months ago, he created something called Independence USA PAC. Now, this was right before the last election. The group has already spent more than $12 million to support candidates and ballot initiatives that favor a wide range of progressive causes. Bloomberg himself was involved in 60 election contests nationwide with this PAC. From the U.S. Senate races, all the way down, I'm not kidding, all the way down to local school board races. Bloomberg, that, by the way, was in New Orleans if you want to look it up. Bloomberg won 43 of the 60 races he was funding. He has spent more than $2 million in the election to succeed former Representative Jesse Jackson Jr. $2 million to run ads like this one and successfully chase a pro-gun Democrat out of a special congressional election in Illinois. Listen to this quote. This is from the New York Times. The victory of Bloomberg-backed candidate for Congress in Illinois suggests that his fledgling attempt to become a one-man political counterweight to the powerful National Rifle Association is gaining traction. Let's put this into perspective. That is one man alone against 4.5 million NRA members. One guy. Does that sound American? You know, can you name one thing that the Koch brothers are actually for? And everybody has a problem with the Koch brothers. Look at what this guy is doing, and nobody has a problem with it. Nobody has a problem that somebody this arrogant and this rich can silence 4.5 million people, or at least try and maybe silence, all through regulation. This is the quintessential progressive disease. It's up to the government, and usually a strong man in a strongman position, because you're too stupid, you haven't been taught, you're not educated enough, you don't have the experience that I have to make your own choice. And so it's up to the strongman or the government to save you from whoever the boogeyman is. Giant corporations, the downturn in the economy, or the Koch brothers, or whoever it is. The New York Times just published an opinion piece from a former Kraft executive turned progressive, and the left and the progressives are heralding this because we told you before, this is not about your big gulp soda. It is not. It is about changing everything in your life. This guy believes that government needs to keep battling food companies in the same way Bloomberg has fought the NRA. Brace yourself, because more is coming. Look at this. Quite simply, this is a former Kraft progressive, quite simply, change will have to be forced by public pressure, media attention, regulation, and litigation. Will have to be forced. Isn't that what Bloomberg just said? We have to force you. Bloomberg is targeting the NRA and gun rights. Now, why? Here's part one of why they're coming after your guns. Because to get you to do all of this, they are going to have to, in their own words, force you through regulation and litigation. Force you. There's part one. They want you to live in a certain way, and they will force you to do it. Now, let me show you what they're doing on guns. In California, Bloomberg seized an opportunity to unseat this pro-gun Democrat by spending $3.3 million on television and mail attacks. Now, this is 3 times the sum that the pro-gun Democrat and the challenger raised between them on their own. Quote, by homing in On a loyal National Rifle Association politician, Bloomberg altered a long-standing element of American politics, that gun grabs are okay. And Bloomberg's gun views are radical, to say the least. He believes that police should strike until more gun control is passed.
Well, I would take it one step further. I don't understand why the police officers across this country don't stand up collectively and say, we're going to go on strike. We're not going to protect you unless you, the public, through your legislature, do what's required to keep us safe.
Imagine what a New York City police strike would be like. This would be the first guy that would force them to come back on the job. Bloomberg lashed out at President Obama in the wake of Sandy Hook because he said Obama's rhetoric wasn't enough. Immediate action was needed.
And that's why we need immediate national action from the President and from Congress. It should be at the top of their agenda.
He's got bullcrap in his throat. That's why he has to clear it all the time. He was then brought in as an advisor to this administration on getting gun control done, advising Vice President Biden's task force on gun control. He also co-founded an organization called MAG, Mayors Against Illegal Guns. Can I ask you, who is for illegal guns besides criminal? Are you for legal guns? I'm a lifetime member of the NRA. I'm against illegal guns. This organization is against guns, and they have been active lobbying around the country for stricter gun control laws. Their current campaign features 30 progressive mayors demanding that Congress take action on gun legislation. Bloomberg has spent a lot of money in Colorado to get that all done. He was originally a Democrat, and then he switched parties to win his first re-election, and then he switched again to independent. Make no mistake, Democrat-Republican doesn't matter. He is a progressive and a big, powerful, dangerous one. He runs in exactly the same circles of other billionaires who want to control your life and, quite honestly, take your money, get rich off of the crash of currencies. Let me give you an example of a good buddy friend of his, George Soros, and his Open Society Institute. They're together on numerous issues. In 2007, education program, Opportunity New York City. This one is amazing. This sets a great example. It pays parents $25 just to show up to a parent-teacher conference. Students get $50 for getting a library card, $100 to go to the dentist. Monthly cash bonuses if you'll just show up for class, will you? And if you'll take this test, we'll write you a check for $100. Oh, my. Also, the Open Society, Soros, supported Bloomberg's courageous stance in supporting the Ground Zero Mosque. Soros and Bloomberg teamed up on the $127 million Young Men's Initiative to tackle the broad disparities slowing the advancement of black and Latino men. And then just last year, Bloomberg donated $5 million to George Soros and the Open Society Institute in Baltimore. Bloomberg's Mayors Against Illegal Guns, MAG, we just told you about, launched with $1 million from another familiar group, this time not George Soros directly, the Joyce Foundation. If you used to watch our show on Fox, we talked about the Joyce Foundation. Haven't talked about it for a while. This is the foundation that the president once sat on the board for 8 years. It's the same organization that granted funds to the Tides Foundation. Under President Obama, Joyce dished out millions of dollars to radical gun control groups. Of course, he doesn't have a problem. He's a hunter, you know. But while he was on the board, they funded studies like Unsafe in Any Hands, Why America Needs to Ban Handguns. Also a cute, cuddly book called Every Handgun is Aimed at You, the case for banning handguns. So no, gang, it's not Cass Sunstein. It's not George Soros. It is a man who has the power and is becoming more dictatorial than even this president is. Do I hate him because he's white, though? I just thought of that. Mayor Michael Bloomberg now at the forefront of the progressive battle to control your life from cradle to grave. With the 13th deepest pockets in the world to fund his God complex and his progressive delusions, Mayor Michael Bloomberg officially takes the crown from Cass Sunstein to become the most dangerous man in America.